Last word. We will be mailing it. Each year, our incoming president addresses our membership, and at this time, Dr. Brett Coldiron will share his vision for moving the Academy and our specialty forward during the coming year. Thank you, Brett. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again.
You can tell I go to the women's derms meetings. And I really do want to give credit to Dirk. Dirk's been superb. He is just so knowledgeable and so kind and so effective. He's going to be a very, very hard act to follow. And I really appreciate the fact that you're going to be on the board with me next year. First, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for the second highest honor of my professional life, that as serving your Academy president. I rank it second because you know the highest. The highest is the privilege of being a physician, especially a dermatologist. It's a special life, a meaningful life, serving our patients, sharing their lives, earning and holding their trust. We're looked on with respect by our patients and held in esteem in our communities and granted the most precious gift of all, entry into the intimate, private moments of our patients' lives. I only wish my father could be here. He would be so proud. And my mother, I could see her in my mind's eye in the front row, shaking her head. But that's another story. My father, Connie Coldiron, spent his life in sales and management interacting with physicians, and he admired the work they did and held the profession in such esteem that he used to say to me, "Brett, if you're smart enough, you might make a doctor." Well, I was smart enough, and after medical school was working my way through internal medicine. I had a cardiology fellowship lined up, and then I rotated on dermatology. And I saw happy people, and I saw even happier patients. Because, see, dermatologists fix things. We cut it off, clean it up, cure it, or at least make it a lot better. And it's obvious to the patients, and that's a really valuable thing. So how satisfying is that? I've never looked back. I got more involved in organized medicine when the state medical board proposed some onerous rules and regulations on office-based surgery. They didn't have any numbers. They didn't have any data. They just thought, we needed some restrictions on dermatologists. And when I questioned this assumption based on no data, the chairman of the medical board looked at me and yelled and said, "You shut up and sit down and don't speak unless you're called on." Now, being bullied by an older brother is an inherent part of being a second son. But being bullied by anyone else, well, that makes me mad. I realized that in order to have some control over my destiny, I had to speak up, stand up for my rights and your rights, and become more deeply involved in my profession. And I've been standing tall for dermatology ever since. Recently, the media was very unfair to dermatology, as you've seen this morning. They cast aspersions on our specialty with innuendos and flatly inaccurate numbers. And once again, I got mad, but not a red-hot mad, a productive, focused kind of mad, the kind of mad that's deep and wide and determined. And I want you to know that the general public did not buy the story. Very few negative comments about dermatologists were posted in the blogosphere. The story did, however, point out some areas where we need to press our message. And rest assured, we will press our message, and we will not let unfair and inaccurate characterizations rule the day. We will not let them do that to us. So what do you get in me as your president? I'm someone who's very happy with my day-to-day work and my daily life, but I'm very unhappy with outside forces attempting to micromanage that daily work. I'm a man who'll never stop standing up for and fighting for our specialty. And I'm also a president who walks the walk as well as talks the talk. I went ahead and went back and got recertified, though I wasn't required to, so that I can enjoy the recertification process and the maintenance certification process as much as you do. So what else do you get with me as your president? You get a president with a threefold agenda. I want to help the individual dermatologist face the challenges as healthcare reform unfolds. I want to defend dermatology with all my might on whatever front that presents a threat to our patients and our specialty. And hardest for you, but most important for me, I want merely not to unite the specialty, but to ignite our entire profession. Not only the faithful choir in this room, but also the guys out there in the hall, the guys in the convention center, and even the ones still in bed. First, let's talk about the challenges facing us in the Affordable Care Act. As we knew, the devil truly is in the details. And detail number one for dermatology are the limited provider networks. As you know, in Connecticut, Florida, Rhode Island, Ohio, Kentucky, UnitedHealthcare Medicare Advantage has dropped as many as half of their specialist physicians and half the dermatologists. It's an unexpected consequence from the Affordable Care Act. And Medicare Advantage plans received cutbacks in their reimbursement rates due to the Affordable Care Act, and in order to maintain profits, have eliminated physicians. And it's created a patient access crisis, though many of the patients don't know it yet. Up to 46% of all Medicare beneficiaries in these states are in Medicare Advantage plans. And it's hazardous to their health, since it's unlikely they will be able to find a specialist quickly enough when their special medical need arises. Perhaps intentionally, it forces the sickest ones, the sickest patients, out of United back into regular Medicare, where they can still see their specialist, but at a much greater expense to the patient. Adding insult to injury is that the company's provider panels that list our names are grossly inaccurate, with up to 70% error rates. Lists of doctors who no longer see new patients, who've left town, who are duplicates, who are dead. And when you tell the insurance company about their list, they say, well, the doctor won't update his profile. I can't tell you how hard it is to get a dead doctor to update their profile. So no available doctors means no bills for the insurers to pay. This takes cynicism to a whole new level. The Fairfield County Medical Association in Connecticut is suing UnitedHealthcare, and we, along with the AMA and others, are supporting the suit. The Academy is actively investigating all these network exclusions, and we're prepared to take action. We're going to send a letter tomorrow to CMS documenting our research, and we're going to visit CMS, and we're not going to let this stand, because this is not affordable care, this is awful care, and Americans deserve better. We will not rest until our patients have access to their dermatologist. The second worry for dermatology is the Affordable Care Act's pressure to create larger groups. As you know, we're a specialty composed largely of 1- and 2-person groups. Most of us are in small groups, and we like it that way. But if we stay small and we risk the loss of access and never-ending expensive government mandates and regulations, which could drive us out of business. If dermatologists join large multi-specialty groups, you fear you will lose autonomy and control, which you will. A better option may be forming larger dermatology-only groups wherever you're at. Should you consider this? The Academy is going to answer this question for you. We're going to give you the ability to make an informed decision on whether creating your own group is worth doing. The AED is also going to consider we're going to set up data registries. The board voted on this yesterday, so that small groups will be able to qualify for quality performance incentives, which will give us some breathing room. But data registries are very expensive. The current tsunami of change in American medicine is not only about the economic impact of electronic medical records, the debts, the deficits, it's also about the impact of all these things on the character of medicine itself. Government, with all its layers, its growth, its indifference, is forcing itself in between the physician and the patient. And if physicians lose our patients, we lose everything, and so do our patients. We will do everything we can to defend the right of patients to see their dermatologist and make sure there's space for us to practice in this confused new world. Which brings me to my third goal, motivating not just the choir, but the entire congregation to action, to become more involved in your specialty and your future beyond writing your annual dues check, which I appreciate. Only 1 in 10 of you, though, is politically involved. It's time to join forces. We can no longer thrive as a small, isolated specialty outside of organized medicine and politics in general. The forces of change are hard upon us. We must awaken the other 90% to the value, the necessity of investing money and time in the politics of medicine. And we need to join the AMA. I know, like any relationship, from your spouse to your church to your civic organization, we're not going to agree on everything, but we can agree on the greater good for patients and physicians. And you know, on the big issues, the government still looks to the AMA for leadership. As you know, we have a dermatologist on the AMA Board of Trustees, Georgia Tuttle from New Hampshire. And we have a second dermatologist running for the AMA Board of Trustees this June. Wouldn't it be wonderful if Jack Resnick won an additional seat on the AMA board this June? If he does, we will all win, but it takes your support to make that happen. Make no mistake, I'm not a pessimist. I truly see our glass as half full and capable of being overflowing, but only if we have a share of the grip. And that will only happen if we are willing to contribute and be involved in the process. Our work is cut out for us if we're to uphold our specialty and leave it better for the coming generations. Our organization boasts a 98% membership rate, and it's full of second and third generation dermatologists, so we must be doing something right. I have a much more activist vision for our organization. I look forward to your participation, all of you, and I ask that you ignite the ones not here, and that this fire catches and spreads throughout our ranks, and our focused heat will melt away onerous rules and regulations that hurt patients and the specialty. Thank you.